Of course, here in the U.S., you and I are so focused on what's happening with all of these states as we continue to get this trickle of election results. Tell us what stood out for your business members when it comes to the Chinese plenum and perhaps the recent President Xi Jinping speech talking about being committed to opening trade.
Sure. You know, the plenum, everyone always focuses on the plenum and then the following five-year plan that comes out this coming March. And companies want to stay involved in China, American companies. That's where the markets are growing the fastest, and the future will see continued growth. So the idea is, okay, what is China planning to allow our companies to stay and to grow with China? So what we've seen with this, with the plenum, and of course we don't have the five-year plan yet, but basically there are three major themes that our companies are following, and that is the technological self-reliance. This has been a theme, actually this has been a theme since the days of Mao Zedong, but it's been increased recently even more with China becoming more self-reliant, and also developing its technologies.
Right.
It doesn't have to rely on the US or any other countries for some basic technologies. And China wants to become a leader in new technologies, whether it's aerospace, semiconductors, 5G, artificial intelligence, things like that, quantum computing.
Does that concern you, though, Bill, that perhaps China is focusing so much on becoming self-reliant that perhaps the business opportunities for U.S. firms or other foreign firms will not be around? Of course, we have seen some concerns about this idea of dual circulation, that perhaps the economy is becoming more insular.
Right, and that's a good question. And I think the dual circulation, when the aspect of it that is international is basically that China wants to engage internationally when there's capital coming in or when there's technology coming in. That would be the focus. And so companies, most US companies now are in China for China. And we do have technology, we do have capital, our US companies. And to that extent, I see that China will continue to welcome foreign companies, foreign investment, and foreign presence.
Entirely on their terms, no? That's essentially what the message is over this regulatory dressing down of Ant Financial, just, you know, on the eve of the IPO.
So well said. And it's just another reminder, which I think part of the five-year plan is going to show us, that party participation in the economy is growing. And it's everywhere, and there will be more control of even so-called private companies. And I think this Ant Financial, as you call it, dressing down, is a perfect example of that. But you know, having said this about the party's increased participation, going back to foreign companies' participation, right now, you'll see that China is very, very welcoming to most foreign companies, especially if we have technology, if we have capital, if we have know-how, if we are paying our taxes and employing Chinese people. So I don't expect this to change anytime in the short or medium term.
William, has there been a pullback in interest, or I guess a sense of caution? Because obviously what we've seen as the relationship between Beijing and Canberra continues to deteriorate. We've had an Australian-born TV anchor still in essentially secret detention being held somewhere in Beijing. We have no foreign journalists from Australia there now because they essentially had to flee. Is that personal safety aspect a real concern when it comes to making a decision to set up business, to do business in China now?
Well, first of all, I commiserate, and I'm very sorry for what has happened to the relationship Australia-China. and especially to some of those who have been detained. Yes, this is a concern. The U.S. State Department, starting back in July, was sending out notices of this is a possibility. You want to make sure that you don't break any Chinese regulations or laws. You want to make sure that there is nothing that Chinese can pick you up and detain you for. Having said that, I know that a number of my colleagues are concerned because just recently, the last couple of weeks, this message has come out again. And I don't think it's a continuation from July and August. I think this is a new message from the Chinese to the US government, basically, because the Chinese are unhappy about some Chinese citizens that the US has detained. And so we're concerned, but I don't think this is going to stop US companies from continuing to be involved in and to be very interested in doing business in China.
Bill, as we speak, we're getting the latest from ABC that the Biden campaign has launched its official transition website. It's called buildbackbetter.com. So that transition website is already up and running. Bill, we're now facing this perhaps Biden in the White House, but still the Senate going for Republicans. So a split Congress, which many are saying also showcases that we might not have higher corporate taxes. Have you heard anything from your business members about what this means for them?
I lost you for a moment. They won't be having higher what?
Corporate taxes.
Oh, okay. Well, the tax situation, yeah, I don't think we know right now. Of course, U.S. companies appreciate lower taxes, so we're able to compete better with other foreign countries in competing in China and so forth. I think that the Senate being held by the Republicans is going to make things more difficult, especially if there is a Biden victory. But I do think that the tone of the relationship that the U.S. will have with China will be different. And we're looking for more communication. We're looking for more targeted tariffs, more targeted policies with China, so that it's not going to be wholesale tariffs, which oftentimes are to the detriment of the U.S. We're going to see more working with like-minded countries to address what we feel are the inequities of doing business in China. And I think that also this Biden administration, if it does come through, will have a new focus on research and development in order to compete more with China.